The Book of Heaven, Volume 17, January 4th, 1925. Luisa writes, Having completed my whole day, I was thinking to myself, what else is left for me to do? And in my interior, I heard being said to me, you have to do the most important thing, your last act of fusing yourself in the divine will. So according to my usual way, I began to fuse all the poor beings in the supreme will. And while I was doing this, it seems to me that the heavens were opening, and I was going to meet the whole celestial court, and all of heaven was coming toward me. And my sweet Jesus told me, my daughter, fusing yourself in my will is the most solemn, the greatest, the most important act of your whole life. To fuse yourself in my will is to enter the sphere of eternity, to embrace it, to kiss it, and to receive the deposit of the goods which the eternal will contains. Even more, as the soul fuses herself in the supreme volition, all go to meet her, in order to deposit in her everything they have. The angels, the saints, the very divinity, they all deposit, knowing that they are depositing in that same will in which everything is safe. Even more, in receiving these goods, with her acts in the divine will, the soul multiplies them and gives back double glory and honor to the whole of heaven. So by fusing yourself in my will, you put heaven and earth in motion. It is a new feast for the whole Empyrean. And since to fuse oneself in my will is to love and to give for all and for each one, without excluding anyone, in my goodness, so as not to let myself be surpassed in love by the creature, I place in her the goods of all, and all possible goods which I contain within me. Nor can there be lack of space in which to place all goods, because my will is immense and lends itself to receiving everything. If you knew what you do and what happens when you fuse yourself in my will, you would burn with the desire to fuse yourself continuously. Then afterwards I was thinking about whether I had to write what is written above or not. I did not see it as necessary or as an important thing, more so since obedience had not given me any command to do it, and my sweet Jesus moving in my interior told me, my daughter, how can it not be important to make known that fusing oneself in my will is to live in it? The soul who fuses herself in my will receives as though in deposit all my divine and eternal goods. The very saints compete among themselves in order to deposit their merits in the soul fused in my will, because they feel in her the glory, the power of my will, and they feel glorified in a divine manner by the littleness of the creature. Listen, my daughter. To live in my will surpasses even martyrdom in merit. Martyrdom kills the body, but living in my will is like a divine hand that kills one's will and gives one the nobility of a divine martyrdom. And every time the soul decides to live in my will, my volition prepares that blow in order to kill the human will and forms the noble martyrdom of the soul. In fact, human will and divine will do not bond together. One has to give the place to the other, and the human will must content itself with remaining extinguished under the power of the divine will. So every time you dispose yourself to live in my volition, you dispose yourself to undergo the martyrdom of your will. See then what it means to fuse oneself in my will. It is to be the continuous martyr of my supreme will. And you think it is trivial or something unimportant?